What are your thoughts on Brittney Griner going? Obviously, she's kind of taking some L's over there, and
I feel
she's been locked
bad.
up. Yeah,
I feel so
a
bad for
million a year
her.
too. A million a year in Russia.
I feel so bad for her. Like I really don't even I I just feel bad because like all she wants to do is hoop and make a living, and now the girl is in a Russian prison. I don't even know what that's like,
Yeah.
and it's just I really just I sympathize with her because it's just like this is not how anybody would ever imagine their life going. And as somebody who has once dreamed of playing professional women's basketball, like now you have to
Hmm.
consider like, okay, if you're gonna go somewhere, you can't just think like price tag. You also have to think like, say something happens, and, there's
Hmm.
already been the coronavirus. So say something happens and you're stuck in another country, what do you
Yeah.
do? Is there a way to escape? And who are they asking for in return? Some arms dealer.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah.
I just feel
And
bad. I
the
really
issue
don't
I
know what
had.
can be done on it other than them
Mhm.
giving up that person. But it's just like, Lord
Yeah.
have mercy.
As long as it's been going on, I've been thinking
Mm,
about like, should I address this at all?
mhm,
And I typically, when it comes to like abortion topics
mhm,
or women's dominated topics,
mhm.
I tend to bring on a woman to talk and let her do talking first, and then I
Yeah,
just ask her questions
yeah.
because it kind of, first of all, it shields me from cancellation. I'm like, bro, I was just
Fair,
asking questions. She said
fair,
it, bro.
fair.
But yeah, it's just out of all, because we saw the example of the Leangelo Ball when he
Mhm,
was over in China acting a fool,
mhm.
stealing stuff,
Yeah.
and Trump stepped in, brought him back,
Mhm,
and I'm like, there was little to no consequences outside of his NBA career that was just
mhm.
cut short,
Yeah.
if at all. Like he's
Mhm,
still trying to fight to get a G League spot. Like
mhm,
he's just
mhm,
getting crumbs at this point.
mhm,
You see the consequences he's dealing with because of his actions.
mhm,
Paul Whelan, he's been over in Russia for some years now at this point.
mhm,
And he's been accused of spying or what have you, and
mhm,
it's the whole thing. And the crimes are different in different countries.
mhm,
My issue was, yo, she's been going over there for a minute now. She's making $1 million
mhm,
a year in Russia hooping.
mhm,
This is not her first time going there.
mhm,
At some point, you're going to learn the laws. Most people
mhm,
have been through TSA pre-check.
mhm,
Most people have been
mhm,
through airport security.
mhm.
None of us are like, you can't have more than this amount of liquid when you go through. You better get
Yeah.
them travel toothpastes. If you
Mhm,
bring a cologne, you better be in that
mhm,
little travel thing.
mhm,
Most people are not new to this, and there are a lot of
mhm,
people that are new to flying, but
mhm.
she's not one of them.
Yeah,
Even in
not at
the
all.
WNBA, she's been traveling. It might be in coach, it might be in
Mhm,
economy, but
mhm,
she's been traveling through security
mhm,
checks and what have you.
mhm,
So my issue is the lack of accountability, and she pleaded guilty. But
mhm,
I hear on both sides. I hear the conservative talking points, and I hear
mhm,
the liberal talking points of
mhm,
we just have to free her. Steph Curry, we have to free her, and we stand with BG and all this stuff. I'm
mhm.
like, bro, she committed a crime.
Yeah.
There's men over there that have been over there for years. No
Mhm,
one said anything.
mhm,
Just leave them over there, let them rot. We don't know
mhm,
their names.
mhm,
There's countless people in prisoners of war
mhm,
around the world,
mhm,
and of course Russia's invading Ukraine. That's the whole thing.
mhm,
But my issue is, I'm like, what makes her different than anyone else who's committed
mhm,
a crime or is
mhm.
accused of committing a crime that are over there who
Yeah.
haven't pleaded guilty? When
Mhm,
she's pleaded guilty, she has a lawyer, she has representation,
mhm,
and the Russia, influencers or those who are in power over there are
mhm,
saying like, Brett, she's in our law system. Like,
mhm,
if a Russian came to our country and acted a
mhm,
fool, or if a terrorist came to our country and acted a fool, and their country said, "Hey, free my nigga, bro," like
mhm, mhm,
he ain't do nothing. He just had a gun
mhm,
in the airport, bro. It's
mhm.
just a bomb on a plane, bro.
Yeah.
Why y'all oppressing him? It's because
Mhm.
of skin color. I'm like, it doesn't correlate. It doesn't make
Yeah.
any sense.
Yeah.
So as much as I personally would hate to be in that situation, and I
Mhm,
can have high levels of empathy of like, bro, she's 6'9" in somebody's
mhm.
jail cell. I know it's
Yeah.
not comfortable.
At
Like
all.
even on base, I was talking to a dude. He just came back to our unit,
Mhm.
and he was just in jail for 90 days on
Mhm.
base.
Oh,
And he's like,
wow.
bro, we can't take naps. Like they had a nightlight that was bright as hell. Like
Oh,
the
my.
food was dusty. The cot
Mhm,
was like concrete, and they gave us like a
mhm,
little thin piece of foam to sleep on.
mhm,
And I was like, all right, that's a military on base
mhm,
prison.
mhm,
3 square meals, had 2 hours of free time, like watching TV or whatever.
mhm,
It wasn't the worst thing in the world, but obviously he suffered under that regime. I can
mhm.
imagine being 6'9". Like
Yeah.
this guy was like 6 foot. He's
Mhm,
like, this chick 6'9" sleeping on whatever accommodations they got over there. I know she's
mhm.
not comfortable.
No.
But then again, I'm not sure where we just negate all responsibility and
Mhm,
say, well, you've been going over there for a minute. You've been making all this money hooping in this
mhm,
country. You've gone through that airport multiple times.
mhm,
We make mistakes. We make
mhm.
mistakes. But of course, some mistakes are immediately fatal. There's some mistakes I'm not allowed to make as a man and think I'm just going to get away with it. You
Yeah.
talking to a 14, 15-year-old?
Mhm,
Sir, come with us. We got a registry for you. Uh, go ahead and sign up over here and go move in the woods because you're a registered sex offender. We don't need you in our like. I can't just. Bro, it's because I'm black. Like, bro, you did it.
Yeah.
You made a mistake. So, I'm not sure where you stand on that. As far as, do you think she should be detained like she is?
I think, well, part of it is that, because what was it? Some type of cart? Was it a cart that she had or something? I can't
It was like some
remember.
weed hash or like some type of
Yeah.
THC equivalent or something like that.
Yeah. And I think that we in this country, because weed is starting to become something that is more normalized and used
Hmm.
in such a recreational way, I think that we automatically are like, it's just weed. It's just weed, right? Like, what do you mean?
Yeah.
Like, who cares? It's not, she didn't have a gun. She didn't have anything like that. And so because of how I think like as Americans, we feel like the world should be just like America. Right.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that the world is progressing as fast as America is. And that's not the case
Hmm.
in many places. And so I think that, and I, same way, am projecting my, liberal American views onto a country that is not liberal at all,
Right. Right.
and completely the complete opposite of America. And then on top of that, I think there's also this feeling that she is almost a political prisoner because of the timing. So
Hmm.
say like the whole Russia Ukraine invasion never happened, then I think people probably would be like, okay, now girl, right?
What you doing over there, man?
Right, like what are you
Yeah.
doing, like you messed this up for yourself. But I
Hmm.
think because of the context of why she was leaving, and how and just the kind of political atmosphere that is Russia, and how we don't really know. I don't really know much about Russia. I don't know about
Hmm.
you. You might be more educated on this type of stuff because of the military. But like, when you hear Russian prison, it just sounds terrifying.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
it just sounds like, what are they doing to her? Are they beating her? Are they torturing her? Like what's going on to Brittany? So I think
Mm.
those are the things that I feel like I'm projecting onto the situation, and I feel like others are projecting because like she made a mistake.
Hmm.
And, I feel like everyone deserves some grace, especially when the punishment is to be in a Russian prison. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Hmm.
it's just like, oh Lord, like I feel for her and just for her family. And it's just like, we just everybody just wants her to be home because it's like, I'm sure it's terrifying where she is. Like you said, I didn't even consider how tall she was and the fact that they're
Yeah.
probably not really accommodating for her at all. She's just a regular old
Yeah.
prisoner. And so to go from the high life to that, it's like, oh Lord, like I really just hope she's, doing okay, praying, doing whatever she has to do to just
Hmm.
stay sane, honestly, because I don't know when this debacle is going to be over for her. But I do agree that like, people need to be, especially black people, if you're in another country, you have to be very like conscious about the fact that people are watching you. You
Hmm.
don't have room you don't even have room to make mistakes in America. So
No.
why would you think you have room to make mistakes in Russia?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think like there's that side of it, and like whatever's happening, I feel like she's paying for her mistake, unfortunately.
Yeah. My closest experiences to anything comparable to jail or prison was
Mhm,
basic training. And
mhm,
I almost lost it in that joint. I'm like, bro, I can't take no naps, bro. Like, I
mhm,
can't have no snacks. I ain't got
mhm,
no music in here.
mhm,
And they're like, bro, just read that book, bro,
mhm,
and memorize the rules and memorize the rules of engagement, the command
mhm,
chain, all these things, to where just kind of trying to juxtapose that to her experience.
mhm,
Um, it's why I tend to be kind of paranoid. I move very slow when I make my decisions because I know
mhm,
nobody's coming to save a man. And again, there's countless men in those prisons over there
mhm,
that nobody knows the
mhm,
name of, nobody's making
mhm.
videos about, nobody's championing for. There's not a single
Yeah.
hashtag for a lot of
Mhm,
those men over there.
mhm,
But of course, there's more well-known name.
mhm,
But I don't think it should matter in that case. I
mhm,
feel like if we're going to champion for Americans in general,
mhm.
then we champion for Americans in general.
Yeah.
But I don't see that
Agreed.
happening. And so
Agreed.
it's unfortunate for
Mhm,
anyone that's predicament where
mhm,
you might be accused of something you didn't do. You might be
mhm,
accused of something you did do. She pled
mhm.
guilty. Maybe she didn't have a choice whether or not, she wanted to go to
Yeah.
trial and then probably get
Mhm,
longer, but she's looking at 10 years after pleading guilty. I mean, a max of 10 years or so, or minimum. I'm not
mhm.
sure exactly, but either way, it's an unfortunate situation. And I
Very.
wouldn't wish that on anyone,
Yeah.
especially going to a foreign country. She can't even talk to nobody in there. Like, she hoping there's some other Americans in there.
Yeah.
But you're talking about social isolation,
Mhm,
physical isolation,
mhm,
geographic isolation.
mhm.
It compounds.
Yeah.
And again, it's unfortunate, but hopefully it's a lesson to all the youngins that may watch this in the future of like just realizing some consequences, they hit you immediately. Adam and Eve, they
Yes.
got one chance. They fucked it up. Now look at us. We out
Ye-
here trying to date and
Right.
struggling with Tinder and going back and
Right.
forth with foolishness. Taxes and gas is high as hell. Like
Mm-hmm. If I
Eve,
ever see him, I got a word for him.
listen, I'm like, you got to throw hands with old girl trying to see you in the alley, bro. You can't be doing that, bro. Put that fruit down, bro. So
Literally.
like, it's a lesson to a lot of people, like realizing your consequences, like your color of skin you might be marginalized, you might think you're oppressed in this country, what have you, but we're blessed in a lot of cases,
Yeah.
and that as soon as people leave this country, they realize, yeah, I had it so much better in America, with all the oppression that we might think is going on, systematic oppression, and like everyone's out to get us, and because I'm black and the cops trying to get me, I'm like, yeah, go to a different country and experience. I lived in the Middle East, one of the most peaceful regions I've ever been in. Not a scent of racism, not a scent. And I come back to America and I land in DC, and it's not so much the same. It's different. We're a mixing bowl here, so we're mixing all these different cultures, and people are just not used to seeing a black face everywhere they go. I'm 6'2", walking down the middle of a mall, and everyone's looking up at me.
Yeah.
It's just, you go to a different country, the height standards are different, the height averages are different, the people are different, the languages are different. And so I think a lot of people can learn that, there's a lot of geographical ignorance taking place where people just are unaware of what goes on off the coast of Miami. Like,
Yeah.
they don't know that there's other people living their entire lives in a whole different set of rules. And we think through solipsism that American, and this is the way Americans do it, and cowboy hats and coffee and culture and hip hop and Harry style, like it's just nonstop Americanized. Like that's all we view.
Exactly.
We look at our social media feed, and this is what life is. Our TikTok, this is what life is. And then people go to a different country and realize, yeah, I took a shower today. It felt so amazing. I'm just 1 gallon of water of a shower. I feel clean for the first time in months. It's different.
It
and
is.
So in America, we tend to like our oppression is someone else's dream. That's why people are fighting to get in, not out. People are
Right.
crossing the border, getting shot, getting arrested, getting separated from their kids, just for a chance to pick cherries, a chance to stand in a Home Depot parking lot, to build somebody's construction, site for pennies on a dollar, cash on the table. So I try to operate from both sides, having proper perspective, realizing, all right, I'm blessed first.
Yeah.
We're on the internet.
Exactly.
We're rich. We're rich. We probably got all these devices that we're talking back. You got a $400 mic. I got a $300 mic. Like, we sitting
I
here
see. I
just-
see the headphones. I see the
I mean,
headphones.
I mean, listen, we do what we can out here, bro.
Exactly.
We take care of business, but it's just like the stuff that we complain about, and we say, bro, we're so oppressed. I'm like, are we really? Like,
Yeah.
let's define oppression, and not just in America, but across the world, and say, okay, so Americans, I think we're kind of disqualified, even though we do have some things that go against us, and we struggle in a lot of ways. You see people getting shot and killed in the street on camera. And it's just kind of normalized. Mass shootings
Yeah.
are normalized here. That's one thing that's one hit against us, that we're so used to it. Oh, another mass shooting.
Yeah.
Down with guns, down with Second Amendment, down with this. And then you go to a different country and like they're just happy to eat that day. I'm like,
Yeah.
Brett, you fat as hell over there busting the grub on that Popeyes over there, man. It's
I
just
had
different.
Popeyes yesterday.
Listen, you get that biscuit too, bro.
I actually did not. I got the sandwich though. I got the sandwich. I got the mac and
kind of-
cheese too.
Hell nah, man. But give me an extra biscuit. You understand? I need an extra. Put some jelly on that mug, warm it up. It's different. It's different. So, yeah. As much as we're sending prayers up for, let this be a warning to everyone else watching. All the 2 people live and the 20 people that will watch this over the next couple of weeks. Yeah, just be aware. Even in this country, some mistakes are immediately fatal.